Welcome, everybody. It feels kind of weird not to have Ginestash and Amos Thomas today with us. But anyhow, we're going to try to guide you through the most important questions that we have received recently with respect to the staking that is coming in 2 days. And we cannot be more excited than we are currently for what's coming. Now, as you all know, this boarding is initiating something very important within the development of the OriginTrail ecosystem. Notably, for the first time ever, Decentralized Knowledge Graph is going to go multi-chain, meaning that OriginTrail decentralized knowledge graph is not only going to be available on Ethereum as it has been so far since the launch of the mainnet in the beginning of 2019. We are going to be transitioning to several other chains, starting with xDai chain and then continuing with the Starfleet chain very much soon after, and with the Polkadot technologies. It's our honor and privilege to be working with the teams coming from both Polkadot and xDai ecosystem, and this is giving us a lot of confidence that a lot can be achieved within the OriginTrail ecosystem. We have had quite a lot of interest, not only recently, but also in the past, to expand the capabilities of what OriginTrail is capable of doing. And by having the multi-chain upgrade, not only we will be able to increase economies of scale, but also increase economies of scope, adding additional functionalities to the OriginTrail ecosystem, which is pretty exciting. Now, perhaps without further ado, we shall look into the questions. There are a lot of questions, and thank you for submitting all the very much interesting inquiries with respect to the future upgrade. Tomaž is going to read the first one. And I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to read each and every single question, but we try to kind of put them into roughly 2 categories. And Branimir has even prepared a short deck through which he will try to explain the most important things which interest you most.
Hi, from my side as well. I see that we've filled up 100 really fast, which is like a nice
104.
104, yeah, with the 4 of us hitting it in, but it's a nice metaphorical 100 for the upcoming period as well. All right, so let's go through the questions. There's definitely been quite a few, and let's dig in. So the first one is on Starfleet Chain. Moving to the ETH, wallets have currently, for our nodes on the ETH side, are compatible with Starfleet Chain, and we can reuse them, right? So the login with the same private key through Starfleet Chain wallet. So do we have the same wallets on Starfleet Chain as we'll have on ETH? Bra, you're the lucky draw for the first question.
Thank you very much for that. Hi, everybody. Yeah, so just to repeat the question, can the same wallet be used on Ethereum and Starfleet blockchain? And the short answer is yes. Just keep in mind that your wallet is basically a private public key pair. So you can use the same private key with the same public key, the same address on Starfleet. And we are designing Starfleet in such a way so that both addresses can be the same. Having that said, it might make sense to use a different wallet on Starfleet once you set up your node, perhaps, if it's going to be that route that you're taking. But anyways, both blockchains use the same engine, really the same type of keys, and that way you can use the same wallet on both. There is also going to be the process of how the sTRAC is going to be generated. So it's going to be associated with the same wallet that has been used for staking. That is an important thing to say.
All right, one down. And then the next one we got is around the nodes. And if we can get the confirmation or explanation around kind of nodes dependence on different chains. So can we have a node functioning on only one network? For example, can it run only on Starfleet Chain?
That's one for me as well. So Yeah, short answer again, yes, you can set up a node to run only on one network. Then on the other hand, just to be completely clear what this means, so that means your node will be only part of the data holding job market within that specific blockchain. So it might make sense to extend and connect the node to multiple blockchains, because this will open up more opportunities to be part of the market. So yeah, but in short, you can set up your node to be on one to work only on one chain.
Next one is on the length of the staking. So how long are we locked in with staking, and how long does it take from withdrawal request to token release? Yeah, I think the question around there is just the how long is the trace that is being staked in Ethereum going to stay there. So obviously the initial timing is the 30 days that the staking process is taking place, or until the maximum amount of staked trace is reached. And then the trace in Ethereum is going to stay locked until the bridge is activated from Starfleet to Ethereum. So that's the that's the kind of the time. And then as soon as that bridge is operational, the withdrawal requests to token release shouldn't be really it should be inconsequential in terms of a time frame. I don't know if you guys feel there's anything else to address with the question. No, that's good. Next one.
Sounds good.
All right. On receipt of the xDai tokens after boarding, is it possible to change to sTRAC, or does the change have to be done in a different way if you only want sTRAC to use for running nodes on Starfleet Chain? Yeah, so kind of a little bit of a mushed up question, I guess, but it's good to kind of go through the mechanics of the staking here, and really how does the bounty come in play. So as the trace is going to get locked in Ethereum, the same amount of sTRAC as was staked for, let's say, take an example of 10,000 trace being staked in Ethereum, what you're going to get is you're going to get 10,000 sTRAC unlocked as soon as the Starfleet is operational. But even before Starfleet is operational, there is going to be a deployment on xDai, and there's going to be a bounty award that's going to be distributed on xDai. So what you'll receive is trace on xDai, and that's going to be in the amount of 5% of what you staked. So if we're looking at a 10,000 trace staked, then that's going to be 500 trace, unless my math is wrong. That is going to be released on trace as trace on xDai.
Yeah, just to confirm, just to explain the 5%. So the 5% is the minimum that depends on filling out the maximum staking amount, that the maximum threshold. So there is a total number of 5 million trace tokens available for bounty. So let's say that we only reach the minimum threshold, that will be 5 million compared to 20 million. And in that case, it's not 5%. It's
correct. So the 5 million is going to be distributed evenly in terms, or in proportion to the staking amounts of whatever the total staking amount is as the staking process ends. So either being a full amount of 100 million, or after 30 days of the staking process. So whatever that amount is, 5 million bounty is going to be distributed on xDai towards those addresses. I think that kind of covers it. All right. So if there is no required 3,000 trace stake on ETH or xDai side, and anyone can borrow initial stake from Starfleet Chain to start a node, how do you prevent bots from being able to borrow sTRAC and spinning up endless nodes? Yeah, so I think that's the question around the initial stake for nodes to get on the network, and how does it run with multiple chains? So I'll give it to Rana.
Yeah, I think we also saw that question on Discord the other day. So just to be perfectly clear, very short answer here: for each of the networks, there's going to the same as it has applied so far will apply in the future. So in order to prevent Sybil attacks, there's going to be a minimum amount of stake for all of the nodes for each of the blockchain. So that means there's no ability to run a node without being invested into that particular blockchain, or actually that node needs to create its identity in the same way. So having that said, there's no way to spam the network, or it's significantly harder to spam the network because of needing to post this stake. There's no way somebody could borrow and then do that, because in order to borrow, they would also need to, first of all, we need to have liquidity services up, but once that is available, those will also require the collateral of already having some trace vested in the protocol, either receiving them as a DH node through the jobs that you are already hosting, or providing stake as usually as previously it has been done. So short answer, we need stake on all three.
All right. Moving forward with the questions, we have with the expected surge of jobs. Indeed, with the Starfleet chain and xDai, are there any minimum recommended VPS configurations for running a node? So do we need to kind of amp up the node configs, Brana?
Yeah, so when it comes to the hardware requirements, we will know the exact hardware requirements after or soon after the beta stage starts, which is actually after it's matured enough. So the beta phase started actually last week. So we're doing tests and checking that everything is running smoothly at minimum requirements. It's going to take a few more weeks to have a very solid picture on that, but we do not expect any big increase in the hardware requirements. So it's not that we need 3 times as strong machine as it used to be to run on one chain compared to running on 3 chains. However, we were not sure that it's going to completely remain the same, so it might increase a little. That's at least what we expect. However, we're looking at making it not have to increase. So yeah, the shortest answer is we will know very soon, but hopefully it stays either the same or slightly increases in the specs required.
Makes sense. If we withdraw the 3K stake from our ETH nodes to use for Starfleet Chain or xDai, will we be able to log the 3K back in the future if we decide to accept jobs on ETH again? So if you opt out of ETH, can you opt back in at a later stage? So someone wants to take out the 3K stake right now to put it over to Starfleet Chain or towards xDai. But if they come back, kind of if they decide to return to again accept jobs from the Ethereum, will they be able to kind of re-stake back and be eligible for jobs again? I'd say yes.
Yes, that's true. The difference being that once you do not have enough stake on the network, you cannot no longer interact with you can no longer.
So you won't be eligible for the jobs in
Exactly.
the period where you pulled out the stake. But if as soon as you would redeposit it, then again you are eligible for jobs on that from that network.
Yes.
Very good. All right, we're crushing it. Can you explain a bit how to use the bridge to convert trace to xTRAC and to be used on the xDai chain? So basically, the xDai chain already has a operational bridge for ERC20 assets. It's called the Omni Bridge. And through that operational bridge already would be able to kind of in both directions, basically, from xDai chain to move towards the Ethereum and vice versa from Ethereum to move towards the xDai chain. An additional, no, good.
Yeah, maybe just a moment. I think so. The xDai ecosystem actually has 2 bridges. So in order to not avoid confusion, there's a bridge for ETH, for xDai, which is created from DAI. So that's the bridge, and the other bridge is the one for tokens, which is how we would transfer a trace. And this bridge is already operational. So there's actually already a trace on xDai existing. Somebody has done it, I think, about a month ago. So I encourage everybody who would like to get familiar with this to go and check it out. The xDai team have created a very, very good documentation about it. The interface looks like Uniswap, if anybody has ever been using it. So it should not be that problematic, I believe, for anyone. But you can already test out how that works, because that's part of the xDai ecosystem. So it's not directly tied to the developments around Starfleet or ODN. So you can just go ahead and try yourself immediately, and ask any questions also on the channels for xDai. But I think it should be very straightforward. Whoever goes and tries.
And there's the one that's connected to it. It's but more from the step before. So how is bounty going to be received on xDai? So in terms of which wallets and how do you access it?
That's another important question. So regarding the wallets, the idea is to utilize the same addresses, because in this way we're absolutely sure that that there's no error when transferring tokens between different chains. That's how it's going to work with all the bridges as well. There is a possibility on xDai to transfer to a different address, but to minimize the probability of any confusion or any errors, the actual same addresses will be used in this case for all of the chains. So the bounty will be received to the same wallet as the one that has been used for staking.
Yeah, it's a similar logic to Starfleet. You will just have the wallet, you use it for staking. That's the private key and the public key combination that gives you trace on Starfleet. That's also the same combination that will be recipient of the bounty.
Maybe a note of caution there, because I think we can never stress enough when it comes to key management and keeping your wallet safe. The suggestion here is really to use a wallet that you have backed up, that you are sure that is secure. It's something that is, well, part of the whole crypto idea, is that the self-sovereignty of our own wallets is within our own domain. And the unfortunate consequence of that is that if you lose your key, nobody can help you. Like unless you have some special key management solution that does that backup strategy for you, there's no other way. So make sure to back up your wallets, make sure that you use a secure wallet. And maybe a note on that, the staking wallet doesn't have to be the same wallet you have already used in the ODN. So it doesn't have to be the management wallet or the operational wallet of your node. And why is that? Well, simply because when you set up your node, you can just use that original staking wallet to send the tokens to the management or operational wallet or whatever you really need. So the suggestion here is to take a safe wallet that you haven't perhaps used before, and make sure you back it up 3 times.
And don't use don't make a mistake of depositing something from an exchange or something like that, right? So always you need to have the private keys of the wallet that you're using. Don't make the mistakes because there's no friends in high places that can really kind of help you get out of this one. It's yeah, freedom comes at a cost, and we have to be careful with this. All right, to have an xDai and Starfleet Chain node, do you need the node to exist on the ETH as well? I think we've kind of brushed on that one before. And kind of relating also to the requirement of the 3K to be staked on each blockchain. So yes, you need to stake on different networks that you're operating your nodes on if you want to receive offers from that particular network. And there's no need to have a node be on all networks. So you can decide to be present on 1 or 2 or on all 3 networks, really depending on your choice. Next one. Can I stake using Metamask?
Let me take that one. So short answer again is yes. Longer answer is that you can really use any Web3 compatible wallet. There's two ways to stake. One way is to go through the interface that is to be found on the website. So that's staking.origintrail.io. And for the purposes of the bug bounty, there's this interface that will be available on the staking website is already present. The reason there is that we're trying to find all the bugs prior to actually launching it in production. So the staging environment is up for testing. So anybody who would like to try how this process works, even without being interested in, say, being a bounty hunter, you can do it. You can sort of test and exercise and see if your system is set up well. So that means you can go to this website, staking-staging.origintrail.io, and you can try it on the Ethereum testnet, the Ringbit testnet. I encourage everybody who wants to do that to actually read the last blog post about the bug bounty, which explains this process in detail and how to obtain the test trace tokens. But having that said, the default really is Metamask, and whatever you can connect to Metamask can be used. So for example, if you use a Trezor or Ledger or something like that, you can connect to Metamask, you can use with the staking interface. There's another way to stake as well, which is a little harder and not really encouraged, but also possible. Instead of going through the staking interface, you can also craft the actual transactions by yourself and use something like, I don't know, MyEther wallet or something else to make these transactions. However, this is much harder and requires a lot of technical knowledge to perform. So it's not the best user experience. But anyways, I encourage everybody to check the interface to try it out, and it should be pretty clear on how it should work. There's guides on every step, and please make sure to read all of the notes. The notes are pretty self-explanatory. And yeah, if something doesn't work for you before the staking process, perhaps it's a bug. So I encourage everybody to send this piece of information to the bounty email. Again, all of this to be found in the bounty blog post, which is, I believe, the latest blog post on Medium. So that should cover it, the MetaMask question.
Another one. How long is the staking open?
Okay, the staking process terminates in two ways. Either after 30 days. So if the hard cap, the maximum threshold has not been reached, so there's a maximum window of 30 days where the boarding period or the staking period is ongoing, or until the maximum threshold is reached. So as soon as the maximum threshold is reached, the process will be closed. And yeah, that's basically on the length.
Cool. And we have the that's popular one. So it's an xDai, a long-term solution, or merely a stop gap. Can you give an estimate on the ratio of jobs we should expect on xDai versus Starfleet Chain, and will it and how will it change as the months progress?
Yeah,
you want to go?
Yeah, perhaps I can take this one. xDai is definitely not a stopgap. I think that's the way the question assumes. It's definitely a long-term solution, which is part of our multi-chain strategy. It is a long-term kind of not only decision, but just one missing puzzle within this larger picture, which is called a multi-chain decentralized knowledge graph, meaning that it's not a short-term thing, but it's also not the only thing. The next thing, as you all know, we are progressing with Polkadot. The course that we are going to assume there is very much dependent on some other technical advancements that we're currently working on together with Parity Technologies. But definitely xDai is one of the steps towards the multi-chain, and not the only one. What we also might see is some other chains using the benefits of the decentralized knowledge graph in the future very soon. And once we achieve that, it's not only going to be, it's definitely not going to be dependent on us as a core technology developer to decide on which chain is utilized for certain jobs, as that would be an arbitrary decision. The point here being that the freedom of choice that we're giving to the market, to the users of decentralized knowledge graph, is actually a feature which is allowing for better kind of gains in terms of efficiency gains. And what we are expecting now is at least 10x in terms of the efficiency gain that we're going to see when we start employing xDai chain and later on Starfleet, and then going forward towards using more chains. So the efficiency gains here would not be possible if it was us arbitrarily deciding on which chain gets employed. That's why it's quite impossible for us to prescribe the ratios of where the jobs are going to be deployed. Is it going to be xDai, Starfleet, any other chain, as that would go against the vision and also against the principles of inclusivity and neutrality. We are, though, expecting a steep increase in jobs, not only as a result of additional actors using the chains, but also because we expect more different use cases to be deployed on the network. Now, this is essentially going to be bringing way better kind of KPIs that we have witnessed perhaps in the last months of the previous year, when the ETH, when the gas, where the fees on Ethereum network were simply too high to allow for a kind of a compelling business cases to be deployed on the decentralized knowledge graph. Now, all of this is essentially going to allow us to bring more activity to the network, and definitely xDai is one of the long-term solutions, but definitely also not the only one, as this is kind of the real motor. The freedom of choice is going to be the real motor for efficiency gains and also for economies of scope.
Yeah, and expanding also the knowledge graph capabilities to all these ecosystems, right? So it's not just OriginTrail looking at for resiliency, which is always like very important, and the the efficiencies that Žiga was speaking about, but also bringing the ease of use of ODN and OriginTrail decentralized knowledge graph to the ecosystem like xDai. That's quite exciting as well. So there we have like a long question, which but the theme that I picked up is if I'm staking for staking versus running staking tokens versus running the node tokens. So I think that's like a procedural explanation again would come in handy. It's just that the staking process doesn't divide into how tokens are going to be utilized on Starfleet chain. So the staking process is like a ship that will take you there. So anyone that wants to be a part of the Starfleet chain, whatever the intention is to do with the tokens once they turn into sTRAC, they have to take part in staking. That's the way that you get there until the bridge is fully operational. So there's really no division in terms of whether you'll be using tokens to run a node, or you'll be using them for knowledge tools, or you'll be using them for just to hold as sTRAC. It's whatever the use case is for you. The staking is the starting point to get there. So there's no kind of division in that sense. Yeah, I hope I answered the majority of this question. Why not leave the minimum stake at 20 million? It would be a shame if we get 45 million boarding commitments and have to cancel the whole thing because we upped the minimum. Leave it at 20 and we will be successful no matter what gets staked. I believe we have left it at 20. So that's just a confirmation of the fact that it is the only thing that got changed based on the expressed interest from the registrations on the boarding website was the 50 million maximum, which got increased to 100 million. So the current band within which the staking process is successfully completed is between the 20 million, which is the minimum, and the 100 million, which is the top. Sorted. Boom. I got 2 in a row, so now someone else is taking the next one. Can I stake multiple times from the same wallet? There you go, Brana.
That's a good one. And the answer is yes. So maybe a little bit more info here. If you go and test the staking interface now, you will see that it has 3 steps. The first step is to connect your wallet. The second step is to run the first transaction. There's going to be 2 transactions in total. And for those of you who know a little bit more about the details, this is the approval transaction on the token contract. This is necessary due to the design of the ERC20 token standard. So we cannot make everything be done in one transaction, unfortunately. So the first transaction is the approval transaction. The second transaction is actually the actual deposit transaction. And in the first transaction, you need to specify how many tokens you would like to stake. The second transaction is really just a confirmation. So there's no input required, just really a click on a button and then signing this transaction with your wallet. A little note here, due to limiting the complexity of the interface and making sure that there's not any potential trouble when it comes to the interface and the staking process. Once that first transaction is made, it's not directly possible to roll back if you made a mistake. So pay attention on how you've performed the first transaction. It doesn't move any of your tokens. It's not a problem if you put the wrong number. You can do it. You can fix it in a different way, but you can either use a different wallet. So moving to a different wallet where you can restart the whole process again, or finishing the second step and then updating your stake if needed. This is important to again address the main question. So let's say you decide to stake 1,000 trace, and then in a couple of days you decide you want to increase that. You can use the same wallet. Oh, apologies. You can use the same wallet and you can use the same process again. So multiple times your stake will be added up.
We are hitting the 40 minutes mark, so maybe we can take like a couple of the Q&A here that are also live, and then there's a lot of questions which just generally can get answered by going through the entire process again. So that's what we plan to do towards the end of this. So we'll just take you step by step and really describe what's happening at any given stage. So we want to reserve some time for that. But yeah, let's take a couple of the 3 here on the Q&A. Could it be restreamed live on YouTube? Maybe. Boom! I like this question. This is an easy one. Yes, it will be. I will make sure to have this up as soon as possible. So that's answered. And then we have Tyler asking, that I hear correctly, that we need to stake the Starfleet chain from the wallet that we will be running the node from. Or can we deposit to Starfleet chain from our management wallet and delegate to nodes after Starfleet launch? So basically, you can use use a wallet that's very secure for you, and that you can really make sure that you have the private keys safe and handy as well if you need them. But as you'll make the transition towards the Starfleet chain, you'll be able to use the Starfleet chain like you would use any other blockchain. So you'll be able to make transactions, deposit for node as a stake, and deposit it on the operational wallets, whatever is required for you to achieve what you're trying to do. That's what you'll be able to make it happen. So I think that we can then move to the presentation, because we have another 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, and by the way, we're collecting all the questions we have received, not only here but also via Telegram, and we're gonna release those questions along with the answers. So you're going to be able to see and read about that, and also this is going to be made available during the staking period.
think we can go to the process now.
All right. Yeah. So very briefly, I think yeah, we went to two main groups of questions. So that really on the staking process and on the end version 5 launch and on xDai and Starfleet. And now we're going to look at all of that on the timeline that you might have seen already. It's on the staking website. It has been presented previously in the blog posts. So we're going to go through it one more time to make sure that everything is understood. There's a lot of detail. We understand there's a lot of exciting things going on. So it doesn't hurt to go through it and just put all these questions in context. So yeah, let me start. Basically, we're still at the beginning. So we're almost here at where the staking starts. We're about 2 days away, a little short of that. That is really the first period, the preparation period. So what we're doing here is really making sure that all of the necessary processes are being completed. A short update on that I believe hasn't been available so far. So we've been working on really making sure the smart contracts are safe. That way, the smart contract has been undergoing several different reviews. There's been an internal team review we've been doing. There's an external review done by the security auditors from QuantStamp. They have basically finished their preliminary report last week, and they're about to publish the final report since we have implemented the edits that they have required. So that is almost done. You can expect the update to be available very soon. And there has been an update to the OT RFC 10, which actually stems from the feedback from the security audit and bug bounty process, which is the third parallel process that is in place to help make smart contracts safe. So these are some of the preparation activities involving others, like the registration of participants and really making sure that the website and the interface for staking is ready and completed. There's been a lot of bounty applications. We're going to use this opportunity to thank everyone. It's still open though, so if you find something, please let us know. Send us an email, and you might be eligible to get a bounty reward. So, anyways, that is the preparation process, and this ends at exactly 3 p.m. UTC time. So you can see that by the counter on the website, that actually by when the preparation period is going to last. That's when the boarding period starts, or the staking period. This, like we already said, either ends in 30 days. This is a defined, literally a constant in the smart contract, so it cannot be changed. So it lasts either 30 days or when the maximum goal is reached, that's when the staking is completed. So basically the smart contracts just check one or the other condition. And as we already said, the minimum goal for staking is 20 million trace tokens, and the maximum goal has been set to 100 million tokens after seeing the interest and having the will for so many different actors to join in this next multi-chain phase. So once one of these two is satisfied,
just a side note that this is this is the one path that we go through to get to the next phase. So there's no multiple paths. It's one staking, one smart contract that is going to be taking care of that, where basically the trace that is going to be staked is going to be locked in, and that is the one that Branimir said spoke about the smart contract audits happening and the bug bounties. So there's no multiple paths towards the Starfleet chain at this point. It is this staking contract. So whatever you're looking to put your trace to kind of to work in any of the contexts on Starfleet chain, you want to have this portion of trace be staked in the smart contract. And that's also why the kind of looking at the registration of interest, as that increased, we've increased the maximum goal as well, so that we can accommodate the community that wants to put their trace towards the Starfleet chain. But it's that one. No matter you want to run a node, liquidity provisioning services, whatever is there that triggered your interest to take part in Starfleet chain. This is the one alleyway that you want to go through.
Yeah. So basically, once the staking is over from either of these two reasons, that's when immediately the new phase kicks in, which is really the phase of launching ODN version 5, and where we really expect, and some of you might have read it in the blog post, we expect a very, very exciting period of both growth and new capabilities being introduced to the network. So we're very excited, because this means that both economies of scale and scope will be unlocked for the ODN. There's going to be 3 different chains that the ODN will be able to use. And at first, after running the ODN version 5 beta phase, which is actually ongoing already, and I encourage everybody who likes to test, run the new ODN to try out running a warp testnet node. That has been available since last week, so there's clear instructions on how you can do it. So basically, once the beta is completed, ODN will be production ready. It will be tested to the necessary degree to reach technology readiness level needed. So that means we will be launching ODN version 5 on the additional xDai chain. That means Ethereum and xDai will at the same time be chains that ODN will be connected to. In parallel, at the same time, the development of the Starfleet chain is ongoing. We are very close to seeing the Starfleet testnet blockchain also being launched. And all this work has been ongoing together with the team from Parity. So we're in constant communication with them, and they're helping us both steer the direction of the development, but also to review what we've been doing. So that's a pretty exciting thing, because it has given us a big boost in terms of how quickly we can do it, but as well as in terms of quality and making sure that everything is being done as it really should be done for a blockchain. So that is the immediate next step, and then further on, once the test
just run back to the xDai deployment, because that also ties to the bounty division. So basically, as the ODN will connect to xDai, it's very crucial as well for the ecosystem to have this deployment be well tested. And since obviously we've seen the kind of registration interest towards the Starfleet chain, this bounty made a lot of sense, so that we already have those community members which are engaged to try out the new deployment of multi-chain OriginTrail, to also allow them to have certain way to test the xDai blockchain as well. So that's why the bounty is going to be divided between those that will stake their trace in the staking contract. So the one alleyway that we were talking about before, using this kind of on the same wallet that you used for staking, which doesn't have to be connected to your node. It can be any type of wallet which you own private keys of. With the same private keys, you'll be also able to access trace on xDai. And it will be the entire bounty pool of 5 million will be divided between all of those that will be taking part of the staking. So depending on the total amount that will be achieved, so either 100 million hard cap, which would mean that then 5 million get divided between the 100 million trace that is staked, or lesser amount that after 30 days, still 5 million will be divided then between whatever the total amount is going to be. So that's going to happen as soon as ODN version 5 launches on xDai blockchain. So you'll be able to then use those trace on xDai to test out the ODN version 5 there. And of course, xDai having the bridge towards Ethereum already operational, those bounty tokens that you will be testing the ODN v5 with will also be able to be transferred towards the Ethereum. So this is something that is transferable towards the ETH and trace and turning it into trace on Ethereum. And then kind of as we have that, all the development of Starfleet obviously is going on in the back kind of unhindered with the parity support.
Yeah, thanks.
Are you
thanks
still coughing or?
Yeah, I'm coughing constantly. I don't know what's going on. I had some weird tea. Anyways, I was about to speak about Starfleet. So we're expecting in this phase to launch Starfleet as well. So after the testnet is up and we've made sure that we reach the required technology readiness level, the Starfleet blockchain launch will also commence. And then from that moment on, every account that has staked trace in the staking process, as we explained it today, the same addresses will have available the same amount of tokens that have been staked. So a one-to-one parity, not the parity that I just mentioned, but really the amounts of sTRAC token being the same as the one that you staked on the Ethereum smart contract. So maybe just to clarify what happens there, because I think I've seen some questions. So there's a pool of locked tokens, right? The staked on Ethereum, and then we will, at the genesis of Starfleet blockchain, at the beginning of it, there's going to be a creation of that many tokens of sTRAC tokens on Starfleet. And then at the first period, in this multi-chain growth acceleration stage, we will not yet have a functional bridge between Ethereum and Starfleet because it comes in the next stage. So during this period, all of the tokens stay locked on Ethereum, while the sTRAC tokens are unlocked on the Starfleet blockchain, and they can be used to run ODN nodes or to run on any of the new services and tools that are going to be released on Starfleet, as it says here, or you might have seen the tools that have been announced, which are there to support the knowledge economy, tools such as the knowledge wallets, knowledge tokens, knowledge tenders, and knowledge marketplaces. Additional services such as the gateway services, liquidity services are also going to be enabled, data to knowledge services. So all of these will be able to be used with the sTRAC token at the beginning. But after a certain amount of time, and in the last phase, which we are talking about today, is the bridge launch window phase. So there's going to be a bridge that is going to connect Starfleet blockchain and the Ethereum blockchain. Through this bridge, you're going to be able to transfer back your sTRAC tokens to Ethereum. So maybe some of you have a question: what happens to the tokens that are locked on Ethereum, or that we're actually going to stake now? Well, these tokens are actually already that side of the bridge. That's basically half of the bridge already there. The other side of the bridge on Starfleet is going to, once the tokens are transferred across the bridge, let's say in the direction from Starfleet to Ethereum, then if you transfer 1,000 tokens from sTRAC tokens from Starfleet to Ethereum, there's going to be a locked amount of 1,000 sTRAC on Starfleet and unlocked amount of 1,000 trace on Ethereum. And there will always be the balance between these two, because that's how really bridges function. So having that said, I believe there have been questions like, will I have both sTRAC and trace at the same time? The answer is no. This is really the same token. They have a different name because they're on a different blockchain. This is really at the implementation point, but both of those are same tokens. They have the same value, and transferred from one chain on the other will mean that on one chain the corresponding token on one chain will always have to be locked. Not sure if I explained that pretty well, but
yeah. Well, so the total amount of trace is always 500 million. So it doesn't matter how many blockchains we operate on. the total available trace is always 500 million. So if you transfer something from Ethereum to Starfleet, that means that it's not available on Starfleet. It's not available only on Starfleet chain. As you will move back from Starfleet towards the Ethereum, that will mean that you'll have to lock it or take it out of the availability on Starfleet and make it available on Ethereum. But the total amount of available tokens is always 500 million trace. So that's never moving, and there's no additional printing or whatever happening in any of the other chains. Yeah, I think that's the important piece also is as it moves from Ethereum towards the Starfleet, and we really or there's been questions around the dynamics of really the kind of jobs also appearing or on different networks. So Žiga spoke to efficiencies a lot, and obviously we do expect with xDai efficiency to enable to see more activity already be enabled by it. Obviously, if we compare it versus Ethereum, and then Starfleet again with the additional possibility to really tailor it towards the needs of OriginTrail Decentralized Knowledge Graph. Another kind of level of efficiencies may be achieved, and customization or tailoring basically that will allow for even more stuff to happen. And then we have the introduction of the knowledge tools and all the rest of the services that you saw and are kind of coming to Starfleet chain that are going to make everything even more exciting. And the thing is that these things will be available on Starfleet. So kind of that's the point of really kind of going also through staking, and the ambition of a lot of the community members that are, and even us, that want to take part in in this stage. It's exciting for us as much as it is for you. Like we want to be a part of the thing as well. So and look at all the fun stuff that's coming. You have to go through this process if you want to be a part of the Starfleet chain until the bridge is activated, which is up to 6 months since the launch of Starfleet, which places it somewhere in Q4 of this year. So yeah, like this is the overarching thing process that we've talked about. Žiga, do you have anything?
Yeah, we have narrowed this discussion onto mainly talking about staking and the boarding process, and then what's going to happen once the bridge is established. Though there are quite a lot of other exciting developments, but due to kind of focus and to have undivided attention on this process, we are going to speak about other developments at the upcoming AMA. We still don't have a date, but hopefully we are going to be able to jump on a call very, very soon, depending on Guinness Tash's and Amos's availability. Last time we had plenty of fun. This time around, we expect to have even more exciting developments to share with you. I think we have covered most of the questions, and we are going to remain available for any queries on several other channels. As we mentioned, we're going to be sharing a list of questions and replies, sort of a Q&A list shortly. We're also going to make sure that this video is uploaded to YouTube tonight, so that all of those who haven't make it because of a short squeeze we have in Zoom are going to be able to see and get all the information before staking. Plenty of exciting things ahead of us, and looking forward to go into this process and as a result get an even more exciting technology out of it that's going to be capable of making mainstream users to start using the blockchain and decentralized technologies, which has always been kind of a unique value proposition of OriginTrail ecosystem, not only to allow those who are savvy of crypto tools to be to take part in the ecosystem, but also to allow others, the vast majority of the world, to start using OriginTrail ecosystem tools.
And kudos for everyone for sticking around. We've lost a whole of 2 attendees, across the entire thing. So thanks for tuning in, and yeah, looking forward to the next couple of days. Trace on.
Trace on. Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.